Hello there once again. Welcome to another episode of The Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Tim.
Yeah, this was a bit of a fun one because I actually had to edit like one of the titles for YouTube on the fly, so I almost didn't make that sort of 30-second cutoff before the live went through, so I was almost going to make us go through a re-loop at the start there, but we got through. Just barely scraped it in. But tonight we've got a lot to get through as always. We're going to talk about we're going to review the latest from the Pineapple Thief, Junkyard Drive, and the Rumjacks. We're going to go back to a classic from Dream Theater, which I'm sure Dave is more than a little bit excited about. We're also going to talk about new singles from King's Vengeance, Shroud, the Hu, and Behemoth. But that's pretty much it. We're going to have a bit of a shorter night tonight because coming up after that, we've got another video queued up ready to go. Last night, I sat down with Chris from Vanishing Point to do an interview promoting their upcoming tour, which starts tomorrow night. So we're going to have just the singles and the album reviews tonight, and then we're going to log out, and then I'll kickstart off with the secondary stream, so to speak, right after, which will be our interview with Vanishing Point, which was taken last night. That's a very fun, very cool interview, so hopefully you'll stick around after we're done for that. I've got a few people saying hello, so make sure you say hi while you're here, people. So Nicole over on YouTube saying hello, good to see you. Same with Darren on YouTube and Rowan as well. Good to see you all here. Thank you for joining us. Dean on Facebook. Hey, lads, hope all is well with everyone. We're all good. Hopefully the same for you and yours. And same with Basher. He's here as well on Facebook, so thank you for joining us as well. Now, I guess, we're going to try and fly through things as fast as we sort of can tonight to try and keep things on a relative timeline. We're going to try to wrap up our side of things between 9:30 and 9:45 so that we can get onto that interview right afterward as well, not make it too late of a night for everyone out there. But for now, let's do the round. So, Dave, how have you been this week?
Yeah, been pretty good. Busy, tired, but got music to keep you going. It was, for those paying attention, it was Friday the 13th, last Friday. So naturally it was horror movie night, lots of drinks, lots of horror movies, lots of fun. Yep. And to make it even more fun, Saturday night, me and the wife set up the fire pit, spent the night outside, fire, bottle of rum, and more music.
No, cool.
And then Sunday was our anniversary, so we celebrated 12 years. 12 years, I've got my kids' birthdays coming up too, so busy, all pretty good. So how you doing, Tim?
Mostly, just not sleeping very much at the moment. It's the end of the Premier League season, so it's I think I was out till 5 a.m. watching the FA Cup final.
Wow, you're mad.
Yeah, when after 90 minutes and then 30 minutes of extra time, once you get to penalties, it's just like, I'm fucking tired. And then, you got to work straight afterwards.
Yep.
Because I like to think that I could still do this, but I can't. But, it's been fun. It's been fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yourself, Andrew?
Good. Busy as always. I'm on about 4 hours sleep today after doing the interview last night with Chris and then editing it for this one tonight. So today's a bit of a grind, but generally speaking, everything's good. They're just flat out busy. Work is off its head busy, which is, a good problem to have, but flat out. Everything's pretty good. Oh yeah. One of our kids, not one that's living with us, but Tori, managed to catch COVID. So she's doing all right, but it's like, fuck no, it's doing the rounds to the people that are connected to me personally. So my dad got it. My sister has it. Now one of my girls has it. So it's like, for fuck's sake, just go away. But everyone's all good. There's no dramas or anything involved. Everyone's sort of vaccinated and riding it out pretty comfortably, which is cool. But on top of that, speaking of international sports, the Flames won Game 7 the other day. So I was like, thank fuck for that. So that was very, very cool. So looking forward to the next round of that starting, I think, tomorrow or the next day from memory. But yeah, it's all been good, been productive. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the NFL season starting again. And I'll be up at stupid o'clock in the morning to watch a game before I head off to work. So Tim, I'll be doing your trick at that point in time on a weekly basis because the Chiefs tend to get a bit more prime time these days. But no, everything's good. Thank you all for joining. So more people coming in. Awesome. Good to see the comments jumping in. So what do we got here? Sean, a regular of ours. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for jumping in again. Same with Ray. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining in. Dean saying Vanishing Point, what a great band. Yes, you are absolutely correct. And I'm looking to showing this interview a little bit later on. Ray's gone. The only game where it can go 90 minutes and not score is boring. So yeah, that can be an issue with soccer at times.
No, it was not boring. It's tense.
That's the thing about it, though. I do agree. I used to help my sister coach a team, and that tension.
The boring games are when you've got a team that's better than the other one, and they go 2-0 up, and then that's just it. The game's finished.
They park the bus. Yeah, that's shit.
That's the boring games.
Yeah, definitely. Man Family on YouTube, The Who, good stuff tonight, so that's cool. Dean is asking a question straight off. Any of you guys heard the new single of Thunder Mother released last week? I don't know you. Great melodies, especially through the chorus. One of the best chorus melodies I've heard from them. I haven't heard that one personally. Have either of you two heard that one?
No,
I have not.
No? All right. Well, we'll have to go and check it out, and we'll get back to you on that one. And Basher is saying, ditto Dean, love their albums, especially Distant is the Sun. Yes, and there is the interview coming up has some great stuff from their catalog and sort of talking about what's making it into the live set, which their tour is kicking off tomorrow night. More on that in the interview when we get to that very, very soon. But yeah, the tour kicks off tomorrow night in Suki Lounge in Belgrave. That's tomorrow night. Then it's Stay Gold in Brunswick on Friday night. So there's a lot going on.
Venue.
Great venue. It is a great venue. So yeah, there's heaps going on with them, and obviously that keeps us busy here tonight. So Sally's here going, hey guys, good to see you again, Sally. Always love having you with us. So yeah, no, it's all good. Alrighty, let's get stuck in. Everything you need to know is in the description box. Before we get stuck in, a big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors indeed in Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Cotton, Rockstar Finance. Make sure you find them, give them a like, a follow, a share. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box. So make sure you follow us as well. Find your preferred social media option and just make sure you hit the like button wherever you can, or share or comment on a post to make sure you stay in your quote-unquote algorithm. And if you want to help us out yourself, then check out our Patreon page for more information on how to do that. But all the links that we're talking about tonight, so there's going to be a reference track that we're mentioning, that will all be in the description box, and it's also in the comments as we go through things. So speaking of, let's get stuck in and get to our first single we're going to talk about tonight. And this is the latest from King's Vengeance, which is a track called Lie. It's the third single from the Melbourne three-piece. It's a 6-minute-long epic. Steering guitarist Dimitri says of the track, our third single, Lie, provides a contrast to Enemies in that it is a more mid-tempo song, yet still maintains an aggressive driving intensity throughout. There are no limitations in terms of song structures, arrangements, and musical influences when it comes to writing within the band. All of our songs stand on their own, but also fit perfectly together, and we believe that's what makes King's Vengeance unique. So there we go. That's the preamble to this little single here. We have covered this band in this process before and played them on the show too. But Dave, how'd you go with it?
Yeah, I like this. I like this band. I remember we did listen to one of their songs. I heard the other one that they got on Spotify. So hearing a third song, very cool. Definitely keep my eye on this band. And also, extra points, King's Vengeance. I'm guessing they got it from the Thin Lizzy song off the Fighting album. They did? Cool. I like these guys.
I believe so, yeah.
Cool. We can be friends.
That makes sense, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. This has an excellent intro to it. The guitar riff and the tone put me into the mind space of early new wave of British heavy metal. Some of the old darker stuff, so it's just the progressive chord thing. But then it moved into a more melodic rock style, which I was hearing with the influence as well.
Cool.
Vocals are good. The solo is very melodic, very cool. Nice build back up after that little quieter midsection after the solo. I thought that was cool. They've got some interesting ideas to their songwriting, so this is definitely a band you should keep your eyes on, people. Check them out.
Yep, cool. And Tim, if I'm correct, if memory serves, you've played with these guys before, haven't you?
I believe so, yeah. These guys are a very good band. I really like this song as well. As Dave mentioned before, guitar tones really stand out. Yeah, that was very nice. But I thought the song, they actually summed it up well in their little preamble, and where they were like, you know, they're drawing from a lot of different influences, because you can't hear that when they put this song together. Yeah, and it doesn't really follow a traditional song structure, but at the same time, it still builds up quite nicely. But yeah, I mean, which you need to do when it's a 6.5 minute track, and I thought they did it very well. It kept me interested throughout, and I enjoyed the journey that I was taking on. So this is a very good track from these guys.
Yeah, well, it's easy to do and make it a 3 from 3. It is more mid-paced than the last single, which we talked about, but it's just a neat little addition to their catalog. The 3 singles all together, like, they are different to each other, but they all do still fit together. I'm looking forward to getting a longer form release and sort of seeing what they do in terms of the track order they would put it all into, kind of thing. That would just be a neat little, I don't know, I'm curious about how they're going to do that later on, but obviously we're not there yet, but hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. Good use of melody on this one. It's got a neat little hook in this, which is surprising for a song of this length. And it's got a real old school feel to it. So it's, Dave, when you mentioned the new wave of British heavy metal, that might be it. But I just got just a classic old school feel and vibe to this kind of song in the writing. I enjoyed that part of it. Cool groove, cool rhythm on it. These guys have plenty of talent. Between the 3 songs we've gotten from these guys, you can see and hear the talent that they've gotten, and they haven't released anything bad yet. And the guitar solo got my attention as well. There's some real flash in that, but I enjoyed toward the end of the song, there's also a neat little sort of rhythmic drum section as well, which is a nice little touch sort of with about maybe a minute or so to go in the song. It's a building song. It goes really nicely if you like your more epic tracks, but it's still like, even though we've said the word mid-pace, there's a bit more energy in this than you might expect when you say a mid-pace song. So I think if you like a longer song that's got some energy to it, this is one you will very much enjoy. So well done all around, and looking forward to more from these guys. So keep us in the loop. Thanks for sending it in by their PR team. So well done. We got more people here. So Tony, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. I think you might be a new face, so good to have you as well. And same with Michael. Good to see you too. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Right.
There we go. Obviously someone you know, Dave. Yeah. Cool. Here we go. It's a regular news. Sorry, mate.
Old primary school buddy. We grew up together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gone back a bit.
He got me on the Kiss. So there's a lot to answer for.
Yes, he does.
No complaint from me.
Got a lot to answer for. You can go watch our Kiss special. Nudes is here. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us as always, buddy. Good to see you. What do we got? Roy, good to see you too. He's going, howdy, legends. Well, you'll be happy tonight because we're talking about the Rumjacks, and that's because of you actually going back in time. Nicole said of the song, very satisfying, which there's a bit of that in there too. I'll pay that. Here we go. Chris says, thanks for the support, guys. We're all massive fans of the show. Definitely did get the name from fighting. So there you go, Dave. That answers the question for you. Yeah. So there we go. Here's a reply. Don't blame me, is what Michael is saying. To you there, Dave.
I'm responsible for my own actions.
Well,
I have to be.
You do need to be. But yeah, Chris, thank you for another great track from you guys. And yeah, keep us in the loop with everything going forward, because we're very, very happy to hear more from you guys as soon as you got it ready. So keep us in the loop, please do. Alrighty, we are going to get moving on though. The next one is another Melbourne band called Shroud. In the comments in the description box is their latest and final single, Nectar. So this is the band Shroud. The song is Nectar. That's in there now. This is the final release from this Melbourne band who are calling it a day. Long-time followers of ours would recognize, or we've played the band on TV before, but also they might recognize Maddie, the vocalist, from she's also in the Deadlips. So a bit of history going back with this band over quite a few years. We first interviewed the Deadlips back in the original studio with the bar setup. So going back to that, like way back. So yeah, it's a long time. We've at least known Maddie on the show here. So anyway, this is their final release from this band. But Tim, how'd you go?
Very good. Of course, like it's between Shroud and the Deadlips, they have something special, and Shroud have a little less. Oh, how do I put this? They're less heavy-ish. Than the Deadlips. The Deadlips have a little bit more gain on the fuzz. That's not to say these guys don't have it, because they've got plenty of hair as well. Yep. And it's just a great fuzzy rock song. And like, it's when this style is done well, it's extremely catchy and just groovy as fuck. And that's what it is. It's just a very, very good track. Sad to see that these guys are calling it a day, because they're a very, very good band, as are the Deadlips. You play with them too.
Yeah.
And I hope to see these guys around in other bands in the future, because they're all very good musicians. And I hate seeing people give it up. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of in the past couple of years with everything that's going on. So all the best for the future for these guys.
Yeah. Well put. How about you, Dave? How'd you go with this one?
Yeah, this was cool, man. It's a shame to hear that they are calling it a day, because I'd like to hear a lot more. But dark and brooding, riff-driven rock. would sound excellent on vinyl, I reckon. But I feel like bands like Lucifer or Spiders or even Blues Pills, kind of a darker version of what they do, and you'd probably like this. I like how the vocals are pulled back and have a little bit of an echo, so it kind of adds to the atmosphere. I thought that was a very nice touch. There's some cool changes in energy and tempo, and it's just handled really subtly. It just brings you along for the journey for the entire song. And I like the slow wind down at the end. That was very haunting. I thought, one of those songs that are good for a Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Well put. It's funny because Tim mentioned, or used the word catchy before, and the riff and the vocal on this is definitely that you can hear it straight away in your head when you've heard this song a couple of times, and it's got a really cool energy vibe feel. It's, if you like your darker sort of doomier sort of stoner rock kind of vibe, then this is definitely going to appeal for you. I think Maddie, everything she does is fantastic. I think she's one of the better vocalists going around by a fair stretch, to be honest. And everything she does is fantastic. And the reverb, that haunting vocal, is perfect on a track like this. Good gear change, like Dave mentioned. There's some that slower stuff, but they really do have a up-tempo pace to this as well, which is a really good, 1-2 punch. When you got the slower haunting side, and you got this sort of riffy, really, much faster stuff, which is really, really cool. The drawn-out solo in this was a nice thing to add to the whole vibe as well. And the vocals that came in after the solo was really well done. I like the way that just sort of came in and sort of that delivery and the way it was written, performed was brilliant. The production's great on it too. Like, this is just a great song from a great band. It's a shame these guys are calling it a day. Make it 3 from 3. I really enjoy what they do. Their EP Slow Demise in 2018 was fucking fantastic as well. So if you like this, go and check it out. Support the guys however you can. And yeah, like Tim said, all the best to everyone involved with all their projects coming up in the future. I would like to hear more from any and all of them. Hopefully they're not just giving it up completely. They're just going to sort of move into other directions. But yeah, very, very sad to see them go, because they're a talented bunch of individuals with some great songs. So check them out and give them some support wherever you can with whatever they're doing next. So yeah, thanks for one last single from them, though. At least we got that to say goodbye with. So that's good to see. More comments. So, Gear, good to see you again, buddy. Hello from Viking Queen. Next year in February, we'll start the tour in New Zealand and Australia, and the crazy Vikings will kick ass over there. Next week, new song, Fight for Glory, coming out worldwide. Nice. Well done. Cool. Looking forward to having you over here on our shores then. We'll have to catch up. What else we got here? Nikki, good to see you. Not our Nikki, a different Nikki, but good to see you. Great song. Glad you're enjoying that one. And Ray's gone, let's blame Danny since he's not here for the Kiss stuff. I can run with that.
Yeah.
It's always fun to blame the person who's not around. We have I don't know about you guys, but it's a running gag at work for us. So yeah, blame the person that's not around. It always works. All right. Gear change to a band that we do love to pieces here at the show. This is the latest from The Hu, and this is in the comments in the description box. The new song, This Is Mongol. There is a new album on the way this year, I believe. Not a lot of details on that just yet, but for now we have this new single from the band. This song is meant as a peaceful proclamation meant to uplift the Mongol people and wishing them great prosperity. That's a direct quote when it comes to this one from the band regarding this song. And like I said, I know we've all got a lot of love for these guys, but Dave, how did this one strike you?
Oh, this is awesome. Right from the first time I heard it, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm right into this. Very cool song. Lots of groove to the opening riff and the song, and then you got the hoo chanting that comes in. That was really so much fun live. Really gotta go try and see them when they come over here, which is in August, I think. They're coming up. But hopefully time permitting. Yeah, and then the drums and guitar just lock in together. They've got this amazing, I don't know if it's guitar, like whatever string instrument they're using, and the drums, it just all locks in for this amazing drive and pulsing rhythm. Always good to that. And of course the vocals, the throat chanting, it's fucking amazing. I could listen to it for days. When their album came out, it's just one of those things you have on over and over because you don't hear anything like it. But the solo is great in this as well. Once again, I'm not sure exactly what instrument it is, but that solo, very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for a lot more music from these guys. This is cool.
Yeah. Tim, what about you?
The riff and the chug was great. It was so good. I love this. I love this band. I love the song. Yeah, it's just. I love the trash can ending as well. Yeah, yes, it was just perfect. Yep, it like fell apart in just this most glorious way. It was brilliant. It was. This is a a really, really good band that is going places.
They definitely stand out. If anything, like I went and reviewed the Gehrig, and we all loved it back in 2019. But this is, if anything, it's sort of more metaled up kind of a thing. They've gone and got a traditional quote unquote Western sort of drum kit in there. They got some guitars and bass, some with some amp on it and stuff into the song.
If you watched them live on the Gehrig tour, they had a drum kit there.
Yeah.
And it was just everything, and they had a guitar player there. It was everything was just meshed in.
Yeah.
And it just like the mix is a little different on this one. It just turned the guitar up a little bit.
Yeah. That's all it took, was just getting some overdrive on the guitar and pushing it into the mix just a little bit more. It doesn't diminish anything at all. Like it still sounds like them. They've just thickened out the sound wall with these different, sort of frequencies going into it. And fuck, it's just meaty now. It sounds so fucking good. There's great drive and rhythm on this one. You will want to move listening to this song. I love the riff and the drums in particular. The chanting vocals, as we mentioned, fuck, this is the perfect next step from the album to this. This is just like the perfect evolution for these guys. The blending of East meets West with the tones in it is really well done. There's a great hook to go with the energy in this one as well. And I loved the more pronounced presence of the guitar, the bass, and the drums on this one. It added something nice to it, like I said, without diminishing what they had before at all. It's very rare, from my point of view, to get a band that does the next step and nails it perfectly. And this feels like if the album's going to be anything like this, it's going to be a fucking hard one to top for this year when it comes out later on. I think this band is well worth your time. The video is fantastic as well. Like Tim mentioned, the end of the song is fucking brilliant. The way it just falls apart into the typical sort of way of wrapping things up there. It was really well done. But yeah, check this band out. They're well worth your time. The Gehrig was brilliant as well. So yeah, there's plenty to go through. Get onto it and let us know what you think of there. I think it's fucking brilliant. So this is one of the songs could be one of the songs of the year at the end of the year, to be honest. It's that fucking good. So yeah. What do we got here? All right. Ray is saying here, you suggest you should send some songs to the guys at Bowser's Reaction Pit on YouTube as they do live reactions, and maybe you could get them in for a few reviews as well. See what happens. I'm not sure we're already flat out, but we'll see how we go. But Darren says, love these guys, have a unique sound. And that's the biggest selling point to me on these guys, is just how unique their sound is. All righty. Time to change gears into something that I'm pretty sure Tim was very, very keen on. This is the latest from Behemoth. It's in the comments in the description box. This is the song of my Herculean exile. We've got a fair bit of love for these guys over the duration. So this is their latest. It's the first single from the Polish band ahead of their new album, Opus Contra Natrum. I think it is pronounced. It's all Latin, so forgive me. That's due on September 16, 2022. I don't think we really need to introduce this band too much. You should have heard these guys somewhere around the way by now. But anyway, Tim, did it hit the spot?
Oh, I did. I love a lot about this. I love the wanky Latin album title. I love the wanky black metal spelling of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the wanky song too.
The video is
hard
cool.
To tell. You go.
Sorry, I was saying the video is cool too. Like between the video and the song, it's a good 1-2 punch there. But anyway, go on.
You say what you want about the genre. They do visuals very well as a genre, for better or worse. And with Behemoth, like with this particular song, it's hard to tell what kind of album is going to be.
Yeah.
Because this kind of sits in their middle ground. It's not there. There's stuff heavier than this. There's stuff lighter than this. There's stuff more melodic than this. There's stuff much more insane than this as well. So this is a nice middle ground Behemoth song to release out. Good single to come out. They've released 2 cracking albums in a row. They've released about 4 stunning albums across their career. So they're always well worth the time. Probably a good gateway band as well for people who are not really into this stuff, although the vocals are pretty insane sometimes.
But I think live too. Live is a different gateway with these guys as well. Like
live they're stunning. I've seen them twice. Once at a festival as a download, which we were all at. Yeah. And they played the Forum on the Satanist tour.
That would be cool.
Which was which is very, very cool. Very cool venue for them. And they're just a stunning live band, incredibly good musicians. So, yeah. Looking forward to a new album. They've always got a lot to say, so it'll be interesting to see what's up.
Yeah, it's cool. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I've heard worse black metal, and the vocals are somewhat coherent, which is good. I like that. And the production is a step up from a tin shed, so points there. But in all seriousness, what they do really well. The musicianship is impressive. Not something I would go out of my way personally to put on, but yeah, like I said, I have heard worse at what this band is like.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's okay.
I figured out of the ones tonight that'd be the one you'd struggle with the most, Dave. But we'll get to Dream Theater, your little one later on. But for me, as Tim has coined it, I'm black metal curious. So for these guys being one of the better and more interesting or engaging bands of the genre, I've got a soft spot for these guys by a fair stretch, actually. I think if you like the band, you know what you're in for. You'll like this song. If you don't like the band, if you don't know what you're in for, then I don't know if it'll change your mind. But between the lyrics and the video on this one, you get a really intense story and visual that really does drive home the impact. And the way the sonics and the visual work together on this was really, really well done. But the song itself is just... what they do is, it's dark, it's brooding, it's got that brutal edge in the vocal, but these guys are so damn good at just sucking you into their songs. I don't know how they do it with the composition, but they just do this thing where the vocals are back a touch, which is always a good thing in my mind for this style of music. But the way they just compose the space and use it and have, crescendos and drop-offs afterward, I think there's just... they really do have this knack for just dragging you into these songs, and it gives you a payoff, which is fantastic. And this song is no different to that. It's just a slow bludgeoning kind of a track that does the job. Like Tim said, this is a good middle road kind of song from these guys. It's not too extreme one way or the other. It's not loaded with melody like other ones are. It's not, full on extreme like other ones are. This is a good sort of midway point. So yeah, it is one if you're a bit curious. Go and check this out and see how you go. Like I said, I think it'll probably trap a few more than people might expect it will, kind of thing. It's one of those ones where, yeah, I don't know.
It's a good thing about black metal. It is because it is a bit wanky and it's a bit nerdy. You do get like this arrogance about it.
Yeah.
So people do try to, quote, for lack of a better term, try to write good songs.
Yeah.
So you do get catchy riffs, you do get drama, you get dynamics, and you get generally a payoff at the end of a song.
Yeah.
To all these things. You get tension and release. It's not just, some meatheads. Well, it is some meatheads quite often. But it's not just some meatheads chugging away and, open drop D.
Well, definitely not these guys. These guys have a lot more going on.
No, there's a lot of thought that's gone into these albums. So, check it out if you're curious. If you like this song, or if you can stand to this song, there's definitely something out there for you. If not,
there's plenty of
album.
Yeah. there's just, I don't know. This band is very interesting to me, and there's something very cerebral about them too. Like they engage the mind a bit too, which is it's an interesting. They're an interesting band for me. But yeah.
So I think it was at that Soundwave show. I think it was during Alice in Chains. Nergal was just a few meters away from me, just taking pictures of people.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were good at downloaders as well. They were fantastic that day. But yeah, what do we got here? Darren says, you can always count a Behemoth to be epic. Good song, great video, and they are brilliant live. So there we go. More echoing of what we've said here. So all good feedback all around. Alrighty. So, Roy, if you're here, we're going to get stuck into a band that you recommended to us quite some time ago, back in, what was this? February, this is from. So this is a track from the Rumjacks. So this is the Rumjacks with Bounding Main. It's the video I've chosen to be a reference track from this one. It's released a little while ago, this one in particular, but I think it's a good opening track for this. So the Rumjacks is the band. Bounding Main is your reference track. Roy is here. He's saying awesome, so he's very, very happy already. So there we go. All right, let's get stuck into it. This is the Rumjacks with Brass for Gold. 8 tracks, 25 minutes. The third EP from the Sydney band. Released February 2022 via ABC Music. Produced by vocalist Mike Rivkes at Corona Corono Sound Factory in Milan, Italy. Engineered by Maurizio Cardulo and Gianluca Amendola. Mastered by Andrea De Bernardi. Fuck me dead. 3 singles have been released from this, including One for the Road and Blood-Soaked in Chorus. This is the band's second release with this vocalist, who has also chipped in to help Dropkick Murphys out on tour while Al Barr was looking after his mother. The band also have a brand new split EP with Chicago band Flatfoot 56. We decided to go with this one because it is this band's band release, as opposed to 3 tracks either way with the album before. So this is this week's Aussie release. And let's go to Tim first on this one.
All right. Now, a very interesting release because it does put you in a bit of a pirate mood.
Yeah.
But to call it it's not a pirate metal release. It's a little bit more traditional, like folk rock.
Yeah.
Like it sounds more like the Dropkick Murphys, which makes sense.
Yeah.
When you say that sounds more like them than it does Lagerstein or any other folk metal band, Amon Amarth, Eli Vite, or whatever.
Yep.
Important distinction, because what it means is, like, not to say that there's, the focus is different. There's less chugging and less a rhythmic vocal, more of a focus on melody.
Yeah.
More of a focus on building choruses and taking you up and down.
Yeah.
So because pirate metal can be quite diversive, and I mean, like I know there's people here that love it, but there's also people, much to my astonishment, that don't like it. Those people who, yeah, well, I think with this kind of a track, if you like the pirate metal stuff, you're gonna love this.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't like the pirate metal stuff, this might be one to maybe get your foot in the door.
Yes.
Because the focus is it is more of a rock focused thing, and there's more focus on melody and just traditional rock and roll songs with that kind of folky element thrown in. Because I mean, pirate songs, come from, old slave songs, which are all, rhythmic songs to help you while you're working. So they've already got that rhythmic bass.
Yeah.
So when you weave that in with some rock and roll stuff and some melody, they turn out to be great songs. And these are great songs all the way around, start to finish. There's not a dud among them. If I had to pick a highlight, it was Kicking Souls, but they're all good.
Cool.
Great collection of songs all around. 8.5 out of 10. I don't know why. I knocked a bit off because it's a bit more EP length.
Yeah.
But it's fucking awesome. Everyone should listen to it.
Yep. Cool. Dave, is it 2 from 2? Did you enjoy this? Did you get the pirate vibe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I chucked it on, just like, oh, is this pirate metal? And it went on, just like, yeah, no, it's not, but it's still fucking good. Instantly infected. Oh, man, you can't not smile when you listen to this. It's high energy, broady pub rock with excellent gang vocals and melodies. If you're in a bar knocking back the beers and the band starts playing this stuff, the choruses are so easy to catch up on. You'll be singing along, whether you've heard these songs before or not. It's just that infectious. If you like music in general, you're gonna like this. Pub rock. There's some traditional folk melodies and instruments all blended together. There's some banjo, mandolin. There's flute solos. But it's all like punk rock, like Living End or the Lost Tones. Or it's like if I was going to try and compare it, it's like Living End covering early Thin Lizzy. But then you've also got the unusual elements that you would get some stuff from Nightwish or Lagerstein. That's the unusual instruments will bring to it. But, as Tim mentioned, the melodies, man, it's just some of the stuff that they're coming up with is just instantly infectious, especially like flute solos. It's not enough flute in rock and roll. My wife is going to love me for saying that because she plays flute. But
That's true.
If you're a fan of rock music, if you're a fan of more symphonic or bands that use experimental instruments, anything with strings, you're gonna love this. But yeah, I got 8 out of 10. Across the Water, Falling Black, and A Somber Saturday, which I got some Western vibes from that as well. So some Cowboys here as well. This is cool.
It's been mentioned how fitting it is that this band is helping out Dropkick Murphys, because this to me is like a cross between that Celtic sort of folk influenced punk vibe that you get from bands like Dropkick Murphys and bands that we love like Lagerstein or Ailstorm, whatever else have you. Like there is a definite sort of middle ground between those two worlds with this band. It's got that, that stereotypical rhythm that's so infectious. It's not funny, especially on the snare and the pipes. I thought that was really well done. They lean into it really nicely. If you're a fan of anything close to this or something catchy, this is going to be a lot of fun. It won't be for absolutely everyone, but this is just a lot of fun. And it just is incredibly catchy, like has been mentioned copious amounts of time by now. It's vibrant. It's warm. The mix on this is really, really good. It does sound great. Band, it's got a great clarity across the board, and there's a fair bit going on, but it's really well mixed and layered on it. Blood-soaked in chorus gives me that Living End vibe that Dave mentioned as well. Something about that double bass feel and the way they were writing and performing and the tones of it overall. I'm glad I'm not the only one that got that sort of a vibe on this. I did put a note here. I might be the only one that picks it up, but I wasn't. So, Dave, you're in the same space as me on that one. This would be so much fun to see live. Like it's been said, like if your band tunes up and starts playing, you're going to be involved, tapping along, fucking clapping. If you've had a few, you're going to have a whole lot of fun. Like you're going to be singing along, raucous as fuck in about 3 seconds flat. It's so easy to get into. This flies by it. It's fun, but there's also some sort of more working class touches in lyrics like you expect, but also some sort of rather deep and somber touches to some of the songs as well. So there's a nice range of emotive depth being explored in the storytelling, and that's the highlight for me on this one in a lot of respects is the storytelling aspect of it, where Tim mentioned before, classic rock and roll kind of songs where you've got really good storytelling. That is a really key part of this one for me. Like tracks like On a Somber Sunday and Falling Back bring that to mind for me in particular. They added to the diversity of the listening, which in turn made it all fly by even more. They've got a nice little sort of twang to them, like that Western touch that was mentioned before. But it also has a distinctly Australian feel about it as well, which is really, really cool. I enjoyed that from a Sydney band. For all that sort of talk about folk and all this sort of stuff we're mentioning, there's a lot more rumble in this than you might expect. There's some... When they want to open things up, there's great use of space. It's all really well written, captured, performed, the works. It's really well done. There's nothing complicated or groundbreaking per se, but it's just incredibly well executed. If you like this style, even have a passing interest, check this out. It will not disappoint. This is a lot of fun, this one, with just the right amount of sort of, deeper, somber touches to go. That's a very well-rounded little release. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. Bounding Main, On a Somber Saturday, and Falling Back were my standouts on this one. But yeah, like Tim said, no duds on this. It's actually a really, really interesting release and very engaging to get through. So well done all around. And thank you to Roy for sending it through in the lounge page for us when it was one of those ones I'd missed, and he put a comment saying this one was released that week, and I've gone, okay, and put it on my calendar to check out, and we got to it eventually in the end. So thank you for that, Roy. Nicole says, fun and folksy, which is cool. Also, again, the Celtic vibes come into it as well. Roy's here saying Rumjacks are kill alive. Also, that you can tell straight away listening to this one. And he's also said they played Blues Fest a few years ago and killed it. I can imagine they'd go off in a setting like that. That'd be a perfect gig.
Nice.
Guys. Yeah, well done. But yeah, thank you again, Roy. That's because of you we found that one. So yeah, well done. And I will probably go and check out more of this band after that, to be honest. So there we go. Alrighty. Next up is Junkyard Drive. So in the comments, in the description box, is a little track called Let It Burn. So the band is Junkyard Drive. The song is Let It Burn. And let's get stuck into it. So this is Junkyard Drive with Electric Love. 10 tracks, 40 minutes. The third studio album from the Danish band, released May 2022 via Mighty Music. Produced by Soren Andersen at Medley Studios with mixing done by Eric Martinson. A few singles have been released from this, including Let It Burn and Home. Got to give a little credit to Lee, our good friend Lee, who found this one for us. Him and TC, or what, Microwave Tim, is that the nickname, Dave?
Microwave Tim.
Microwave Tim were advocating for this one to be reviewed, so we figured we'd give this one a go now. And Dave, let's throw to you first.
Cool. Yeah, this band's awesome. This is cool. Album kicks off, you get a taste of what the band's all about. Blistering track with Let It Burn. Cool rocker with an interesting quiet midsection that slowly builds back up in the guitar solo. But the guitar solo is, they don't just launch into it. There's nice little phrases, and then it gets into it. I haven't heard a solo like that in a while. I thought that was cool that they're bringing back this old school kind of 60s and 70s phrasing and then getting into a shred, which was cool. Yeah. I'm going to say solo a lot in this release because a lot of them are really, really, really good. The second track, Electric Love, that has such a cool riff. It's a bit funky without being full-on funk. Gives a bit of groove. But, yeah, it was cool. And the singer's got a really good rock voice. He's got the right amount of raw edge to his tone, but without being full-on growl. The song Home, once again, very cool guitar solo. Everyone really stood out. I think most of my favorite songs are based on guitar solos for this.
Yeah.
But then, it's not a one-trick pony. You get a song like Let Me Love You, which is a very nice ballad.
Yeah.
Nice intro with the singer and then just the backup singers. No instruments yet. Very cool to have something like that. Not everyone does the quieter moments anymore. And I think it gives nice dynamics and diversity to it. That song's mostly acoustic. There's a bit of electric in there, but just it makes it emphasize on the vocals, which in turn makes you focus on the lyrics. Nice story in that. And once again, excellent solo in that. But overall, I got a bit of a Rolling Stones vibe to that song, but a rocked up Rolling Stones. Kind of taking the inspiration of how they structure their songs and roll out a ballad, which is cool.
Okay, cool.
Tomorrow I Will Be Gone. Once again, guitar solo. Fuck yes.
Shit.
I'm
noticing a trend, Dave.
Solos together, man. Get the album done in 10 minutes by just listening to the solos. But yeah, got to get away from the guitar wankery for a while. The lyrics have some great hooks, and the choruses have great hooks, and the verses have great stories.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an 80s vibe occasionally, but it's certainly not a throwback band. It's like they took what works for even the 70s and 80s and made something new out of it. And towards the end, you got Wonderland of Temptations. It's a piano ballad. Builds up as it progresses. Solo's great. I love the solo. But yeah, it's nice dramatic songwriting. A bit of a old school with modern energy. I thought that was a very nice touch. But 8 out of 10. Electric Love, Home, Let Me Love You, and Wonderland of Temptations were the standouts.
All right, cool.
And the solos.
And Dave's a bit fixated. Wait till we get to his Dream Theater review coming up. All right, Tim, how about you, mate?
Look, you're not wrong about the guitar solos. They're fucking great.
Yeah, definitely true.
This is an excellent, excellent album. And this is the sort of album for mine that could have been released in 1970 or now, and regardless, it's going to sound great in any context.
Yep.
And it's sort of got a mass appeal to it that it sits right in the middle of people who like heavier side of rock and people who like the softer side of rock, and it's going to appeal to everybody, right? Because it does. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy. It's growly, but it's not too clean. It's not too dirty. It's not too. The grooves just sit right. The solos just sit right. The tones are spectacular. All across, and like they told a story with their track listing.
Yep.
They brought you up, they brought you down. There's not really any dud tracks on here as well. It's just overall, this is one of those releases that I didn't know this when it came out, but I'm going to keep listening to it because it's incredible. It's an incredible album. I don't know many people who like this show. If you like hard rock, I mean, like I don't see people not liking it. So really fantastic release. And as well, like, I mean, when you see these days a lot of European hard rock releases, you know, this one stands out as a unique sounding album amongst a lot of, you know, cheesy synth albums. So this is a proper hard rock record and fantastic. Well, thanks for those who've recommended it because it's an absolute cracker. And yeah, 9 out of 10. And Electric Love was my highlight.
Nice. We're going to go from strength to strength to strength on this one because it's 3 out of 3. I fucking adore this album. Kicks off with the opening track, you know, that sets the tone for the album wonderfully. If you like riffs, melody, and energy, this is going to impress you. But like Tim was saying, this is a definite sort of Goldilocks kind of album. It's not too heavy, not too soft. It just does everything right. Great groove, great rhythm across this one. It has all you want from a modern hard rock band that is influenced by the past but not ripping anything off. So yeah, that comment you made, Tim, about being released in the 70s or released today, and it would fly equally well. Perfect way to put that. Really good comment on that. I love the little detail in this. Things like tambourine in the title track. The mixing in of that is really subtle, and it's well done as well. Same for the backing vocals. The harmonies and the mixing on those are incredibly well done. And this band know how to create space and in the songs help build the tension up. The knack for that dramatic sort of impact has helped to really build to the solos, which is probably why the solos stood out so goddamn much on this record, because the space they built up beforehand, they left that sort of vacuum for the solo to launch into each and every time. And they're all different. So it's so well done, and it's just really well written and performed. that whole dynamic, the push and pull of the whole thing makes this album fly by. You get great gear changes across the board. You get all those peaks and troughs that I love to talk about and have loved to talk about for quite some years now. But the attention to detail across all aspects in this cannot be denied, and it's just impressive. Hooks for days. I mean, not only is the energy great across this, but you'll be singing along to this in no time. These songs really capture you and stay with you incredibly easily. And again, the overall mix, the tones, the balance is something else on this release. Great use of top and bottom to really fill out the sound wall, but the use of depth and space is well done as well. This punches you in the face, giving you all the dynamics at the same time. A lot of albums go for that. We're going to push the speakers, but you get a lot of particular frequencies. This one has the full spectrum going on. It just sounds glorious. I don't know. There's little details here and there, just little subtle touches too, that just to bring things up and down again. It's like they use the studio as an instrument, but not in a blunt way, just very, very subtly. And just the detail again, fucking great. There's a female gospel choir at the start of "Let Me Love You," which is just one of those little elements that go into the overall craft of this record. When you look at who's involved in this, it shouldn't surprise you that it's been so well put together with Eric Martins and that as well. But there's claps, there's cowbell, there's rattle in that song as well. Like there's a whole lot going on with this. But again, with all these little bits and pieces and all this stuff going on, none of it would mean shit if the songs weren't as well written as they are. And these songs are fantastic. The ear candy is great, but the songs for the foundation of everything, just when everything serves the songs so goddamn well, it's really hard to fault in any way, shape, or form. Vocals are stunning. I know Dave banged on about solos, but I think the vocals on this are probably the fucking highlight for mine. You got great solos as well there, but the rhythm section is a perfect platform for both of those things to shine as well. And I like how the bass got the lead on tracks like Mind Eraser as well. So everyone got a little moment to do things on this. The track order, the flow of the album is brilliant. The slower moments are really well placed on this one too. They give you the right emotive sort of weight on the listen. And the power ballad, the Wonderland of Temptations, is bang in the right place. Fitting that it's a longer song as well. It builds really nice, and I loved how they used the piano and the vocal to really build that one up. This has everything you're looking for in this style of music. If this for me is going to be right up there at the end of the year. It's very hard to put this one down. I'm going to keep going back to this one a lot, and I've got some more digging to do on these guys as well. But this is impressive, and thank you again to Lee and TC for making sure we got through to this one. It's soaked in the blues, but it's brought right up into today. If you like us, if you like this show, if you like the premise of this show, this is one you simply had to check out. This is 9.5 out of 10. Fucked if I know why I knocked half point off. I'd probably grow by the end of the year, but yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for now. Mr. Rock and Roll, Electric Love, and Let Me Love You are my standouts on this one in particular. It's a fucking stunning release. Well done, and thank you again to those advocating for it because, yeah, enjoyed this one thoroughly as we all did. What do we got here? Got some comments. Cool. Hang on. So Sean says, Junkyard Drive reminds me of Skid Row with I Remember You kind of sound. That's actually not a bad comparison. Yeah. Here we go. TC. Hi, guys. Microwave Tim approves. These guys are awesome. Glad you like this one. The last album is worth checking out as well. And following up, Lee's here as well. So Lee's gone, glad you boys enjoyed. Think these Danish boys are awesome. So he has a lot of love for these. Darren says, like this, we'll have to check out more. Please do. Roy says, definitely to check out Junkyard Drive. Lee says the past two albums are equally good. And Lisa said you guys did review the last album, Black Coffee. Mate,
I think we did listen to it, yeah.
We do, on average, 350 to 500 albums a year.
Yeah.
So I apologize in advance if I don't remember absolutely everything we've done.
Back in the garage, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right, actually. I have to go and dig through the archives. But yeah, Manfam is saying sounds great. Have to check him out. Awesome. Getting a lot of love for it there. But Tim, I think that's where we wrap you up, isn't it?
I am out of here.
You're out. Do you want to put anything in the bin before you go?
I do want to put something in the bin. It's a preemptive bin. It is a preemptive bin.
Okay.
And that is because I know these places are going to exist.
Yeah.
And that is voting areas with no sausage sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
The sausage sizzle should be mandatory for anyone, for any voting area. Like, what's the point otherwise?
That's it. Democracy sausage, man.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care. Like, do what you want. Harass me on the way in with your fucking cars. I just want my fucking sausage.
That's it. I agree. It should be mandatory. I hate that because then it becomes a thing online too. Is like, got my sausage, and you got the fear of missing out thing too. Like you get FOMO because you don't want to miss out on the sausage.
Exactly. I got to work on Saturday. I'm going like before work because I want to make sure I get my sausage in time.
It's commitment.
Because if I go after work, there's going to be none left.
They'll be gone. That's it. Fucking hell. Well done. It's going to be interesting on the weekend, isn't it? It's going to be very interesting.
Well, I think you guys would have gotten it too. It was like Facebook memories today. 3 years ago today was the last election.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. So,
so who the fuck knows?
So the meme groups are going off right now with ScoMo tackling that kid.
Yeah. What a fucking... Oh, my God. That is going to be...
the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that is just fodder. That is going to be so abused, and I'm all for it. Send them through. That's going to be fucking fantastic. Watch that play out. What a thing to do in the last week of the campaign.
Oh, there'll be something else tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, but that's going to be hard to beat, though. That really.
I've been watching Veep, and like, it's hilarious, but at some points it's like infuriating because you know that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
All right. So that's you then.
I'll see you all probably next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Beautiful. We'll look after yourself till then, and we'll catch up soon, buddy. But thanks for joining us tonight, and make sure you keep them well out there.
We'll catch you later.
Beautiful.
Take care, man.
Cheers. Awesome.
Cheers.
See ya.
Yeah.
All righty. So what we got? Nikki. Tricky Nikki's here.
Nikki.
Sacrilege. Agree. Our Nikki. TC says voted today. No sausage sizzle. You poor bastard. Nikki's gone democracy snag for the win. Nicole says we have a map of where democracy sausages are. So I want that map. I'm hoping there's some out our way. And she's gone to see it, Tim. Tim's gone, but hopefully he sees that one later on as well. Alrighty. So I'm going to quickly just jump over to my other little tab here, which I do need to just bump this one up a little bit. Because I've got the Vanishing Point stream actually set to go. So I'm going to keep sort of pushing and manipulating the time that it actually starts to broadcast as we go through things. Oh, Nicole, that's disappointing. She's got only in Ipswich, Queensland. So, there we go. That's only. I want a map for down here. We'll have to find a Facebook group, Dave, that'll give us maps for where the sausages are. If
you can have the app that tells where the booze busters are, you can have a map to tell you where the sausages are.
You had an app for the rat tests, like when that was a thing, like when you couldn't find them, you had an app for that. So I'm sure we can get an app for the sausages. We'll have to go and dig. But all right, let's get into. We've got 2 more to go. We're going to try and knock these over so we can get onto this Vanishing Point review tonight. So next up is the latest from the Pineapple Thief. I don't believe we've given this band a lot of time on the show in the past, but this is a track from them in the comments in the description box. This is the Pineapple Thief with Dead in the Water Rewired. Now, the whole premise of this is Rewired, which I'll get to in a second, but that's your reference track as we go into the next review now. This is the Pineapple Thief with Give It Back Rewired. It's 12 tracks, 54 minutes. Their special compilation album. It was released in May 2022 via K-Scope, produced by band members Gavin Harrison and Bruce Sword. Mastered also by band member Steve Kitch. 2 singles been released from this in Give It Back and Dead in the Water. Not meant as a greatest hits compilation by any means. Instead, this is a reworking of songs from the band's earlier releases when drummer Gavin Harrison, who's also of King Crimson, was not a member of the band. So he's handpicked these tracks, and along with the vocalist Bruce, they've got to work sort of rearranging and re-recording these songs because they wanted to put sort of his spin or his take on these ones to make it a bit more, I guess, more his in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'm reading between the lines there, I guess. But it's an interesting concept to go back with a different member from the original songs and rearrange and re-record them. So it is sort of in your wheelhouse, Dave. How did you go?
I've never heard of the Pineapple Thief before, but my kids are big SpongeBob fans. So I'm guessing it's either Mr. Krabs or Squidward that stole SpongeBob's house. Okay, because I have no idea why you would name your band the Pineapple Thief. It's unusual, but knowing this is prog rock, there are some pretty fucking weird names out there for bands. Been
around for a while, so they might be before SpongeBob, I think.
Yeah, probably. They could be the inspiration for SpongeBob. Who knows? But yeah, I looked on Spotify. They got like 13, 14 albums. So yeah, because I had to find out with the name Rewired. I figured that it was exactly what you said. These are reworkings of older songs.
Yeah,
it starts off really well. The album opener, Wretched Soul, has some a cappella vocals, and it's just like, okay, you got my attention. This is interesting. It's definitely in the prog rock world, not prog metal. It's the softer side.
Yeah.
Now, this song quickly shifts gears, and it does heavy up a little bit, which helps the story unfold, and the mood shifts, and the different dynamics, and gets really heavy towards the end. The fuzzy distortion. I thought that was a guitar tone you don't really hear, and I thought that was a cool little addition to something fresh. It's subtle playing. Playing slow can be quite challenging, I think, as well as playing fast. And I don't listen to much slow music, and it does get a bit drawn on as the album goes on. I have to digest this as individual songs because there is a lot to take in with this music. But I found from about halfway on, it got a bit same tempo. And
I did find that too,
the opening track and the couple after that was so, it was diverse. There was that it unfolded, and then it's just okay, you're losing me. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling here. But if you've been a fan of this band for a long time, you're familiar with the older versions. It's probably an interesting comparison to see what the drummer brings to this. But I didn't love it, didn't hate it. I'm interested to hear more from this band. I will check out some of the songs I liked on the albums that they're from, and maybe go from there. Because they're definitely a good band. They can write, they can perform. But just the album got a bit taxing towards the end for me. But I still gave it 7.5 out of 10. Wretched Soul and Build a World were my standouts.
Okay, cool. I do appreciate what you're saying there with the toward the sort of second third, it does sort of mellow out a bit too much to a degree, but that said, I thought it was all pretty well done. I'm not overly familiar with this band, so put that on the record to begin with. But there's a lot of love for these guys. When people have been aware of these guys having music coming out, there's always a lot of love for them. So they've got that fan base, much like sort of bands like Porcupine Tree and that kind of stuff too as well. There's always a hardcore fan base, and these guys certainly have that. Definitely the prog rock side of things, like Dave was mentioning there. The opening track, Wretched Soul, is a really nice builder of a track though, and has some real snap to it, which I enjoyed. If nothing else, this album is really worth checking out for the mix alone. It is a phenomenally produced album. Like, take away the music, just the sonics of this, my God, what a fucking production and mixing this has for it. There's a lot going on, but there's a lot of air in this one too, which makes it really light and easy to listen to, but there's some great warmth in the bottom end as well. Good balance, good space. The vocals have plenty of room to take center stage, which is what you want them to do on this one. But the tones are wonderful across the board. The layering is fantastic. Great use of panning and reverb. I'm getting a bit geeky now, I know, but like they've not done anything over the top, but it's done incredibly well. Like it's just about doing the basics and nailing it, and they did that on this. Not a studio-heavy album at all. Like it's just that whole thing where you just get a good tone at the source, mix it right, present it, and it's a simple thing, but it's hard to do as well as this one is done. It punches nicely. The whole thing feels and sounds organic. Each song gets what it needs to as well. Tracks like Give It Back tighten things up a bit to really allow the bass to take the lead, which is a nice touch. Again, it's nothing complicated. It's just good execution. Then there's also things like the double-tracked isolated vocals on that track as well was a really good touch on this too. Between the production, the composition or rearrangement of these songs, they've done this pretty bloody well. Performances go hand in hand with all that, as you'd expect. There should be no surprise in that regard, being a band that they are. But from top to bottom, performances are fantastic. And everything serves the song. The ego has been well and truly left at the door, which is great. You've got flash, you've got times and moments for individuals to shine across this one. But it's all about serving the songs, and it's done really, really well. Very clean, very melodic. It's a joy to listen to when it does that sort of stuff. But the kick underneath some of the tracks on this is really well done. Some good hooks too. Like tracks like Someone Pulled Me Out really stays with you after one spin. That one really gets stuck in my head really quickly. But yeah, like you, I do think that after about track 5, it tends to wind down a bit too much. It could have used a little more pep to sort of keep things moving. Nothing bad, but it was noticeable for me, especially on the deeper listen as well. But that said, everything just execution-wise on the performance, production, that kind of stuff, the writing, it was well done enough to hold your attention. Last Man Standing sort of brought some more heat toward the end of things, and the strings and the choir bring some cool drama on that track as well. It's a really kind of a cerebral listen. Like you do feel that pace dropping off, but if you're mentally sort of switched into it and it does sort of appeal to that side of you, then there's some really good stuff in it that, demands your attention, and it's not one... Like a casual listen is good, but you'll get more reward out of it if you sit down and sort of give this one your full attention. the layers of production, that sort of stuff makes it worth it as well. The ear candy, this is really good. I would love to know what fans of this band think of these songs, because I know that these, from what I've seen commentary-wise online, the rearrangements are actually quite different to the original version. So I haven't had a chance to go and check them out. I'd like to know what diehard fans think of these rearranging of the old songs from them. But yeah, it's well worth the spin. It's worth checking out. There is some gold in this pretty much for everyone somewhere along the way. So I just would have been a bit better served by tweaking the track order. I think they had enough tracks to keep it interesting, but just spacing out those heavier moments across the record would have served it a bit better. But I still enjoyed it. It's well done, well executed, a great listen, and it sounds fantastic. 8 out of 10 from me. Wretched Soul, Give It Back, and Someone Pull Me Out. So some different standouts there as well. Alrighty, what do we got here? More comments coming through. Okay, Roy says, in the 15 odd years I've been able to vote, haven't ever had a sausage sizzle. You poor bastard. That sucks. And Nicole has gone straight to the cafe playlist for me. All right. Just clarify, I'm hoping that's a good thing. I might be wrong, but let me know, please. Nicole, confirm that for me if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just context. If you're not in on the joke, it's like it's having a location joke without being at the location. It's sort of like, just give me some context just to make sure I know. All righty. We have our Patreon choice main event of the evening to get through, and then after that, we're going to get out of here real quick and do the Vanishing Point interview. So it's just around the corner. Got one more review to get through. Dave has an essay on it, so bear with us while we get through this one. But here we go. Your reference track. It's Dream Theater, of course. It's Dream Theater. And the track I've chosen for this is Take the Time. So there we go. Take the Time is the reference track, not the more commonly played single, so to speak. But Dream Theater, Take the Time is your reference track. Dave, you'd be actually surprised. I have this one on CD, believe it or not.
I'm impressed. Yeah. I'm really impressed.
There you go. But anyway, this is Dream Theater, Images and Words, 8 tracks, 57 minutes. The second studio album of the American band, released July 1992 via Atco Records. Produced by David Prater at Bear Track Studios and the Hit Factory in New York. Mastered by Ted Jensen at Sterling Sound in New York. 2 singles were released from this in Pull Me Under and Another Day. This album peaked at number 61 in the US, has been certified gold in both the US and Japan. The single Pull Me Under is the only top 10 hit the band have ever had, and this album is widely regarded as one of their best, having won numerous awards and fan polls over the years since its release. It's also their only gold certified album and is their best seller as far as I'm aware. This is the band's first album with vocalist James Labrie, and the album is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. It's this week's Patreon choice album review. So if you want to get involved in telling us which ones you want us to do classic album-wise each and every week, join our Patreon page, and no matter what tier you choose, you get to vote on that every week. Dave, I know you've got your notes. Have at it.
Right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Just kidding. That's just guitar tabs.
Yeah.
The actual notes on the computer, I thought I would try and scare you. But yeah, I'm not going to read for 20 minutes. Okay, I love this album. It's been a favorite for about 20 years now. I could listen to this over and over, day after day. Yeah. And it's one of those albums I can enjoy it as just music, or listen to it to learn music theory, or challenge myself if I want to improve my playing. I spent hours trying to learn to play Metropolis, and I still don't get bored of that song. Absolutely love it. And usually when you analyze a book or a movie for a school assignment, you're just not enjoying it anymore. It's the complete opposite with Dream Theater. The more I learn about how this band does stuff, the more I love them. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a great follow-up from their debut album, When Day and Dream Unite. I like Charlie Dominici's vocals on that album, but it's just something that just didn't gel. And when they got James Labrie into the band, he brought them to the next level. They finally found the singer that they needed to suit what they were doing. It fits all the different styles, moods, emotions, textures that they have to their songs. Dream Theater are known for having long songs, and they have done longer than what you get on here. You get 5 songs that clock in between 7 to 12 minutes. That's actually short for some of the stuff they've done later in their career.
Yeah.
But they are the album flows really well, because you got the 3 shorter songs that range from 2 to 5 minutes. I think the track flow is brilliant and breaks up the epic tracks really well. They're right space throughout. And some of the shorter songs actually set the mood or do lead directly into the longer ones, like Wait for Sleep. That could actually have just been the extended intro to Learning to Live, especially because they reprised the main melody from Waiting for Sleep in Learning to Live. I thought that was a cool reprise. That was cool. The album does open with their only hit song, Pull Me Under. I love that clean tone. That would be my most favorite clean tone ever. So good. And a little vibrato he does with the bar. Very cool. You got those chunky guitar chords that come in. So it's an excellent intro to an album. And then you got the atmosphere that's created by the keys and the poignant lyrics written by Kevin Moore. It's a shame Kevin Moore parted ways with the band because he brought some really interesting wordplay, especially on their first album too. But he's kind of like the Syd Barrett of the Dream Theater lore. So, eccentric genius and a bit of a waste of talent. But they went on to bigger and better things. But, I remember seeing them in live in 2009, and that section in Pull Me Under just before the whole Watch That Sparrow Fall line. The second time that comes along in the song, they fucking double timed it. I was all down picking too. I'm like, are you human? How the hell do you do that? It was just one of those moments. It's like, this band's fucking incredible. I like how Another Day lightens the mood because Pull Me Under is a bit darker, and then you get a complete 180. Just very, very nice little touches that they did with the track flow, and that leads into Take the Time. Yeah, Take the Time was it's probably a good choice for a single. I'm surprised that one didn't get as popular as successful as Pull Me Under, because Take the Time. If you're a Frank Zappa fan, you'd probably like that. If you're a Metallica fan, you'd probably like it.
But also it crosses that bridge between the 80s and the 90s, that period of time. Like, it does have the sides of the coin.
Definitely around 92. That could have been so much bigger. And 92 was a strange year. But gotta love the saxophone in Another Day. Very nice touch. Saxophone isn't as common these days in rock as it should be, but it was good back then. But that song kind of gets lost in the crowd of all the cool epics on this. But when I do listen to the album over and over every time, but that song at the moment is just really, really getting me at the moment. It's a nice, uplifting, good song. Okay, Metropolis, the crowning piece. I fucking love that song. It is amazing. I remember the first time I heard the instrumental section. I was just flicking through the booklet, like probably reading up some of their other stuff. I was in full Dream Theater mode, and then this fucking epic musical masterpiece comes on, and I just like staring at the stereo like, what the fuck is coming next? And I'm like, holy shit, this is so good. I have no idea what's going on, but just something I had to find the transcription for. I went online, got a really dodgy one, and eventually bought the book, which is wrong. Wrong. Okay. Fucking positioning is wrong. And they claim that it's 5 + 7 over 8 timing. That is not the way you write shit. It's either 5/8 or 7/8, and you change the fucking bars. Not hard. Wrong. So I wrote it out correctly. Did more research, watch videos of where he's positioning. It's not on the 2nd fret, it's on the 7th. Wrong. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, it frustrates me. But one of those things where you just use the actual official book as a guide and rewrite that shit and learn it properly. Yeah. But, Petrucci's lyrics in that song are fantastic. It's just bit of metaphors, bit of story, old school storytelling. Not exactly sure what the song's about. Everyone can describe their own ideas, and then it develops later on when they did the concept album. But he's an excellent storyteller, especially some of the stuff on their first album. So you can tell he has a lot to say at this time in his life. And I think James LeBray, he cops a lot of shit, but he does a great job of conveying the emotion in that song. And, it's one of the highlights of their live show as well. Every instrument gets a chance to shine on there, and great use of rest. Some people have like it's hard to explain without going into full geek territory, but there's a semi-quaver rest or even a 36 or 32nd. Like my master's fucking gone. But those subtle little stops that just bring extra drama to it.
Yeah, and the notes you don't play. Yeah,
just really well done. And the unusual voicings to the chords, whether it's an inversion or the add 2s and the sus 4s and all the type of jazz shit. It doesn't sound like jazz. It just gives, it's cool. It's great. Learning to Live, I'm not going to try and analyze every song. I wish I had time, but I'm trying to rush through it. But Learning to Live, there's a nice little Latin style in the middle where they break it down. That's a cool touch. You can tell that they're music fans, not just music nerds. They're actually listening lots and lots of different genres. Under a Glass Moon has driven me fucking insane. I can actually do Metropolis a lot easier than Under the Glass Moon. And the intro I can get, but then there's the main verse. It's in 6/4, and it's the rest that do me heading because there's no pattern over 4 bars. It's in 6/4. And how the hell do you remember this? How do you count this? It shouldn't be hard. It's 6/4. It's just adding an extra 2 beats to 4/4.
Yeah.
Excellent guitar playing. If you're serious about being a musician, you really need to check this band out. If you don't like the music, you can learn a thing or two. So you can use it as a tool, but I think if you're serious about being a musician, you're going to enjoy this. It's not just the odd time signatures either. It's the unusual groupings that Petrucci has in his phrasing. He mostly just stick to 4, but he uses 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've seen practice videos with him, and he just sets the metronome and just builds it up and up, and it just gives. When you're shredding in groups of 7 or 8, it's just this unusual sound, and it sounds beautiful. You know, and the faster you can go, it just gives this amazing texture. But sticking as many notes as you can into a single beat. I mean, you count that when you're practicing, but when you're performing it, that's feel. People claim this band has no feel. This band has more feel than you can think.
On this album, yes, I'll agree.
Yeah, I know they explore as they go on. They explore and go crazy in different directions. But yeah, at the ground core of what they do good, they do well. What they do well, fuck up, mate. Overall, the songs of this album are diverse, they're epic, they contain excellent emotive storytelling, lots of themes that you can easily identify with. And it's great that all 5 members back then would write lyrics. I mean, John Mayall would taper off after a few years, which is a shame because he wrote some really deep, quiet guy, but a very deep thinker. Yeah. And you get different parts of their personality, their thoughts, their interests, and all done in different styles. And as I said, you can tell they're music fans of very broad influences. Contrary to what people claim, James LeBray does have a lot of emotion in his vocals. He can, he brings the songs to life. I think, as they go on, he may get a little flat, but he did have a throat injury. He had food poisoning once and ripped his throat apart, basically, just after in 94, 95. So
not long after this,
yeah, so the one after. But yeah, he recovered in time. But yeah, fuck, back then, I think this is his crowning achievement. And there are 2 things I will complain about. One, the snare drum was triggered. Okay, Mike Portnoy fucking hated that, but the producer insisted he trigger the snare. Yeah, I don't know why. Because I've heard demos, official demo CD dating back from 1989 to 91, when they're trialing a few different singers and slightly different versions to the songs, and eventually James LeBray comes on. But it's interesting to see how they changed. But they were considering for a while just being an instrumental band because they couldn't find. They all did 200 singers.
Wow, that's nuts.
But to get the right singer for this band. The other thing I will complain about is the "Pull Me Under" video clip. What the fuck is with that Wolfman thing? It has nothing to do with the song.
That's
studio
weird.
Interference. Even the band is just like, what is this shit? But I love this band. It came along at the right moment for me when I wasn't enjoying what was happening. But even now, when so much music is drive through, it comes and it goes, and there's so much content. And having bands like this that just really love learning and pushing and have that drive to be better and explore and take a few chances. You're not always going to get it right, but just go for spending some time on your albums, and it might be 2-3 years, but write an album that's going to last and appeal to your fan base. This album is 30 years old now. It sounds brilliant. I always said when I heard this, because I heard it in like 99 when I discovered the band, but thinking back, 92 was a terrible year for this band to start, essentially. 2 or 3 years earlier, they would have been a lot huger, but they stuck to their guns through the 90s. And eventually it paid off. So this is one of the best success stories. And at the time, when I discovered the band, Portnoy considered them the biggest band you've never heard of, and that was 100% true. But I'm just so thankful they've had so much success. Obviously, 10 out of 10. Pull Me Under, Another Day, Take the Time, Metropolis, Under a Glass Moon, Learning to Live. I had to leave 2 off because I didn't want to be a wanker and say all 8. But all 8 are brilliant.
Well done. In case you can't tell, Dave is a big fan. He's earned that drink he's taking now. And the Vanishing Point interview is just around the corner, so bear with us. But this one is a well-loved album from a well-loved band. They do have that sort of cult following that, the biggest band never heard of kind of thing is one of those, names that applies here. And these guys certainly have that going for them. But this one, like this band for me, I haven't been great. Like Dave and I have debated this band ad nauseum over the years. Dave loves them. I'm on the fence. But this one is much more of a hit album for me. The opening 8-minute epic sets the tone really well. That blend of the synth and the chugging riff on that lets you know what you're in for. And as I think this album, that song in particular, has one of James' best vocal performances that I've ever heard from him from then till now. The end of that song, though, still drives me fucking nuts. Just stopping for no reason. It's whatever. I think that's lazy. I know they've got their fucking reasons for it, but whatever. Give it an end. Don't just because it's just confusing. Like you can imagine, especially back in '92, you put it on. Like, did my CD get fucked up? Did my record get fucked up? Like you didn't have the internet per se to go and just, you have to go and read them. Like, whatever. I'm being a grumpy old man on that one, but yeah, that still irks me. It's like, the fuck? But yeah, it is what it is. Before that point, that song's fucking fantastic. So just for the record, it is worth it. It's just the sudden stop at the end is odd. Lyrically, this is impressive. There's a lot going on in that song and across the album. There's some really deep storytelling, and the real emotive weight that is delivered by James on this one really does, make you pay attention to everything going on. The music complements that across the board here too. In a little bit of a way, this reminds me a little bit of Queensryche in the tone and the overall bit of darkness about it. So you get Operation Mindcrime kind of a feel and a vibe, that darker touch to it. It's not the same thing, but there's just this feel, a vibe to it that puts me in mind of the two albums, well, that I can draw a link to anyway. After the opening, you get some different gears across this album. The saxophone from Jay Beckenstein on In Another Day, it really did put me in mind of Kenny G and Michael Bolton. Like when you first hear it, it just comes in. It's like, I wouldn't have been surprised that was Kenny G on the fucking oboe doing the thing there. But it fit, and that was the like. It sounds like I'm having a shot. I'm not. It actually fits really well, and it's actually quite impressive to pull that off. It was just a big gear change. Take the Time, like we were saying before, has that big sort of late 80s, early 90s sort of feel, especially at the start with the samples on it. It's a really well done flavor on the album. Like you're getting a lot in the first 3 tracks on this one. No two songs are alike across it. It's really, really well written, and it flows very, very smoothly. For an album that's so diverse, to make it flow the way they've done is a really, a tip of the hat to them for making that go as well as it did. You've got in Take the Time, you've got that sort of fusion of the upbeat flavor, which continues over into the next track, Surrounded, which I thought Surrounded could have been a single as well, which I was surprised that one was. That would have been a really good one. It might have been a bit late, so to speak, a couple of years. Like you were saying, it might have been better if they started a few years earlier kind of thing with an album like this. So it might have been a couple of years late in the timeline overall for that. But I think it's a really fitting song that would have been a really good single, and it's also great in the middle of the album as well. It helps to make this album move. When you're talking about the gear changes across the one, because we're already talking, 4 or 5 tracks in, and you're starting to get a bit going on. None of this is forced, and that's the remarkable thing, because I found albums from these guys later on, you feel like they're forcing it. They're making changes for the sake of making a change, versus this one, it feels organic. Things are flowing. It's moving. It's a bit, it takes some twists and turns, but it's more like a stream where it's moving as opposed to you fucking on the, whoever remembers the fucking Mad Mouse at the Melbourne Showgrounds. It's the albums later on can be like the Mad Mouse. This one feels like
that's a good analogy.
To it. Hey?
That's a good analogy. I can see that.
I'm glad the visual worked for you. But yeah, those staccato twists and turns aren't really present on this one. It's a really smooth ride, even though it does go fast. It's rounded off. A special shout out to production on this one. This still sounds great today. If nothing else, that makes it worth listening to alone. But the layering, the balance is just James, for his tone, because it is a bit higher and it cuts through. The way they sort of softened him off just enough is well done on this. There's a lot going on with this ear candy wise too, but it's really well blended. There's like things are done with the drumming where they panned it left to right as songs are going along. Those little tricks are well done. They stand out. And you've got great harmonies here too, just great panning, great tones. It's all really well done. Lots of depth and space. This feels warm and organic to listen to, which again, another critique I got of the later albums is they feel really clinical, just sonically listening to them. They feel sterile. They still feel cold. This one kept the warmth. It feels organic, which is it helps to make this much more engaging. But there is some really good snap and punch in this. The solos are fantastic on this one. Between the keys and the guitar, the solos in this are brilliant. And, for all the stuff about, if you're into your technical stuff, which Dave was getting into before, you've obviously got plenty of that in here too. So if you want to get into your music theory, you've got that for days on this one. Go nuts. Dave's already written folders. And I mean that seriously. He's written folders worth of stuff on this band. You can go and do the same if you want to. I'm not going to bother. But the thing that surprised me most when you listen to this, like you've got, for the technical side of things, you've got tracks like Under a Glass Moon. That to me is a really technical song, and it shows how much talent they've got. But when you get to the track Wait for Sleep, it's only 2.5 minutes long, and it's a different gear change. And I was surprised it works. It works really well, but I was surprised that with everything else going on in the album, that feels like it should be an outlier, but it's not. It really does fit in well on the album there too. That piano and vocal-led touch is nice. the midsection on learning to live, the acoustic and rhythm element, that was really cool as well. Like that's a good way to wrap things up. There's another longer track at the end. That one builds nicely. It's a great way to close the album. I have reviewed this before. I'm not sure what I scored it last time around, but this is a really damn good album. And if you like me, you're not really into this band per se. Like I appreciate them, but they don't grab me as much. This is the album you should check out, because if you like me and you want something more organic from these guys, this is the one you should go and check out. If you're a fan, I know there's already comments coming through about how many diehards are after this album, so I'm not going to try and convince you. But people like me that are a bit more on the fence, this is the one to check out. It's really accessible. It's not snobby. It's got everything you want from it, being technical and flow-wise. It's a really damn good album. It's a smooth listen. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. I picked Pull Me Under, Metropolis Part 1, and Learning to Live as my standouts on this one. Do have comments. We're always going to get comments on this one. Back to the Pineapple Thief there. Nicole clarified for me. I like it. Not something I would listen to or buy, but I wouldn't mind as background music, so it's a positive, I guess. So there we go on that one. It's a neutral positive kind of response. Lukewarm. We'll go lukewarm. Rowan says, this is my favorite Dream Theater album, though there are others that come close. An easy top 10 all-time album for me, 10 out of 10. That's well done. Danny jumped in and gone, Ray, why are we blaming me? Back to the Kiss stuff from earlier on. So, Danny, if you're still here, we were talking about, because one of Dave's old schoolyard mates jumped in on the stream, and Dave said that's the one to basically blame for the Kiss obsession that Dave has, and we were just joking around saying, hey, you always got to blame the person that's not here. So Ray blamed you because of the whole Kiss obsession. So there we go. That's some over or long-winded backstory to what's going on there. Rowan says the build-up to the guitar solo in Another Day is one of my favorite examples of tension and releasing music. So there we go. That's a good touch on that one there as well. Back onto the food stuff. Ray says we have a food van at our booth. Nice. That's cool. All right, back to the album. Darren says, great album, brilliant musicians, but what do you expect when you have Portnoy and Petrucci? That's very true as well. Yeah. Basher says, got their greatest hits album. Enjoy listening to it, and after Dave's passion and emotional review, definitely give it a few listens. Nice. That's what it's all about. Cool. Rowan says, Dream Theater was my favorite band from 92 through 2001. I looked around everywhere for live fan recordings too, and there were a lot of them. Nice. And
I got a fucking shitload of them.
I'm sure you do. And Dream Theater and Queensryche were twin bands in the 90s. Queensryche went in a different direction. That's true. Yeah, like it did feel like that for me. Daniel, John's a phenomenal bass player. Got to be with Petrucci and Portnoy as bandmates. Hey, that's a very good point there too. We have
three of them agree.
Yeah. Rowan says, good Desert Island album. That's probably true as well. Yeah. Daniel, good to see you. He's gone, Pull Me Under is a huge song. Yes, it definitely is. That's why it ended up as being my standout on here. And Rowan says, so Ray is Dave's Kiss buddy. Got it with a bit of a tongue out emoticon thing there, emoji. That's it. There you go. Yes, there's a Kiss fest going on in more ways than one. But anyway.
I'll stick with the bin.
Yes. We'll get to the bin in a second, though. Just quickly before we get out of here and do all the stuff, because we got the Vanishing Point interview, which is overdue. We're going to get to that very, very shortly. But a shout out to some Patreon supporters. So TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, Jason, Brendan, 16x9, Marty, Sam, Trash, Caroline, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, and Man Family, who are here tonight as well. Thank you all so much for your support via Patreon. If you'd like to help us out directly, please do. The link for that is in the description box of this one. So that and all the other details for us are there as well. So please like, follow, subscribe, all the usual shit that everyone gets you to do all the fucking time, I know. But we're no different. We have to do these things to help to get the word out there. So find your social media platform of choice and make sure you interact with us. Give us a like, a comment, any of those things. Make sure we just stay engaged in your algorithm as well. It helps us a lot and helps you stay in touch with us. A big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors too, in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box, so please find them, give them a like, a follow, or a share as well. Would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So please do check them out and give them some support as well. And so tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Australian Central Time, got another episode of the Hard Rock Show. It's all sort of local and international sort of new music coming up. And then same thing again in Melbourne on 10:30 p.m. Channel 31. That's the same idea, it's just different weeks apart. And then our special at the end of the month, 2-hour presentation, is going to be on bands that should have been bigger. So if you're following our socials, you'd have seen the the post went up today. That's the theme is bands that should have been bigger. That is going to be a 2-hour special presentation that will be followed on Channel 31 by a rerun of our Taylor Hawkins special presentation as well. So for those that missed out, it will be coming up again very, very soon. But there's a lot going on. Make sure you follow us, keep up to date with all that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's just heaps going on, and there's more content online coming to very, very soon as well. Not least of which is the Vanishing Point interview, which is coming up in just a moment. Roy says going to see Vanishing Point Saturday week in Brisbane, Vegas. Sorry, can't wait. Awesome, nicely done. They are fantastic live. And Daniel's going, anyone doing King Parrot on Saturday? I can't say that I am. I don't think Dave is, but if anyone else is going to King Parrot, let us know.
On Saturday.
Sorry?
My son's birthday on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, take him to a King Parrot show. Man, just for you wouldn't do it, but just for a laugh, just to get a video of him and the first thing they play live, like it'd be just to get his facial reaction would be fucking something. That band.
He'd love to go to a Lagerstein concert.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, him and Jade, they both want to go.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun, actually. That would be great for the kids, I reckon. But yeah, King Parrot, probably not so much, but they are an experience live. They are definitely one to have to see live. They are fantastic. All right. We've got a lot to get through as always, but quickly, Dave, let's get to a bin. What are you putting in the bin this week?
Yeah, people who stop at red traffic lights and fall asleep or fucking check their email or brush their hair or rearrange their nuts and just aren't paying attention for when the light turns green, and then they make everybody else wait for like 2 minutes before they decide to go. And when I'm at a red light, I'm like staring. When the traffic stops going back and forth, you know that light's going to change. So I fucking floor it as soon as it turns green, because I'm considerate about the people behind me. Everyone wants to be somewhere else. So at the red light, don't fall asleep, pay attention, and fucking drive when the light turns green.
Yes, definitely. I completely agree. The amount of people I see that are obviously dicking around on their phone and they miss the light when it turns. It's like, fucking, you're driving. Pay attention.
Exactly.
All right. Mine's a slightly more long-winded one, so bear with me for a moment here. But I had an interesting conversation with someone who's a lot younger than me. And they just gone to vote. And they go with a guardian, or not a guardian, they're an adult, obviously, but, you know, an older influential figure in their life. Let's put it that way, be it a parent or a grandparent, or whatever term you want, auntie, uncle, whatever. Someone who is older and has sway over the youth when they're voting. Now, it should never get to a point, for me personally, where because voting is important. I know that it gets not to get too fucking high horse on it, but it's a big deal. It is important. We should do it and utilize it properly. We should understand how it works, all those things. It's not like a sporting team or a religion. Don't just tell your kid to vote whichever way you vote because you've always done it. Because if everything goes to plan, they're going to live a good 20 to 50 years after you're gone. So make sure they can think for themselves and don't just have to copy you because you vote a certain way and they will always have. Give them and empower them enough to make informed decisions so they can vote for themselves on issues that will matter to them long after you and me, Dave, after we're gone. I want our kids to vote for themselves, not for me or anyone else, just for themselves, because it's going to impact them long after we're gone, we're dust, we're dirt. So don't just go vote Liberal or vote Labor or whatever else because you've done it. Teach them to fucking vote to what matters to them and how to use it properly so they can preference and allocate their preferences accordingly. It is important to do that correctly. Please don't just treat it like politics treat it like sport and religion. It's very, very different and it's much more powerful than that to me. We're up against it and it's going to be another election in a few days. Think about your vote and don't just tell your kids to vote a certain way. Actually empower them to make a decision for themselves, and that would be better off all around long term, because it's the whole thing for me is like when a kid does something wrong because another kid did it in class, it's like, well, would you jump off a cliff if Simon did it too? Same thing. You wouldn't vote because Simon voted for them too. Like, it's just the same idea. It's just because you believe it, it's suddenly okay again. In the bin, that sort of shit. Let's empower them to vote for themselves, because like I said, they're going to be around a long, long time after we're gone, all things being equal in the world. But that's about it, Dave. I think we're about to get out of here, which is pretty good timing because I've set the other stream to start at 10:15. So if you just hold on for a few minutes more, the Vanishing Point interview is right around the corner. Let's quickly get some comments here very, very quickly. All right. Lee is saying he's off to King Parrot on Sunbury on Saturday. Nice. There we go. So there's some confidence there. Ray says, it's a pity the kid could not get to see War. Now, that would be fun too for kids. War would be awesome. Nicole says, the bin, the real Aussie Cossack who thinks Five Finger Death Punch song South Side of Heaven is satanic and a riot inspiring song. What the fuck? Get your facts right, buddy. That guy has no grasp on facts whatsoever. Go and look at his fucking court case bullshit, though. He's fucked. What do we got? Rowan says, coalition in the bin. I will agree with you, but people can vote who they want to vote for. Daniel says, the bin, elections. There we go. Ray says all the election ads. That's true. Basher says heated touring September. Looking forward to that. Yes, there's been a lot of touring announcements come up this week. We haven't gotten to them yet. We're going to try and get this one quickly through as well. Vinny says, oh, fuck, I missed it. I thought it was a 10:30 start. The Vanishing Point interview or what? I don't know. But yeah, no, this will stay online. So we'll be back here. You can watch this one whenever you want. You can go back to the start whenever, and Vanishing Point is right around the corner as well, starting in 5 minutes from now. So Vinny has also said my oversight in the bin. It's 8:30 Wednesdays. That's our blanket time slot. That's when we try and do things for 8:30 Wednesdays. All right. Nicole says, got thrash on the brain. I went wrong side of heaven. So there we go. Yep. And mate, good to see you, mate. New comment. Going to see Guy Sebastian on Friday. Enjoy. I don't know what else to say to that. Hopefully you enjoy it. All righty. But is there anything else you want to add here, Dave, or are we going to get out of here real quick?
Bring fair the rule.
All right. On that note, we will see you all again very, very soon. Make sure you tune into our TV broadcast and other streams coming up as well. Just make sure you follow us to keep up to date with everything going on. But stick around. 4 minutes from now, we have a Vanishing Point interview. Chris and I had a long chat last night. It was fantastic. It's a great interview. Please do check it out. And also, please do go and see the band on their upcoming tour starting this coming Thursday. So tomorrow night, their tour kicks off and they're going all over the place. So check them out. Their details will be in the video coming up after this. So we're going to close this stream down and start a new stream in just a minute there. So, but for now, we'll get out of here. So that stream can start in at 10:15. So 4 minutes to go. But until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
As always,
drink up
and rock on.